video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can become fundable. I think a lot of you guys miss some of these steps, or one or two steps that's costing you 20, 30, 40, $50,000 of business funding if you're not doing all these little things in the right order, in the right steps. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So you have to become fundable, right? And here are the core principles, the things you need to do in order to get fundable. The first thing you need to do, I'm going to keep this thing basic, and then I'll dive deep into each one of these aspects. So the first thing is your proper name. I think this particular thing, this is overlooked. This is underrated. And the reason it's underrated, the bank should never know what your business is through your business name. Let me say that again. The bank should never know what you actually do through your business name, because that already gives them a red flag. As an example, I have an LLC that says Rosario Investment Group. I applied to the same bank with two different businesses, and same score, and I got funded on one LLC that had enterprises compared to that, and the LLC that had investment in the LLC name got less funding and was older. Okay, so and underwriters can confirm that anything that is considered high risk, real estate is one of them, unfortunately, or anything with credit repair, you want to avoid those names because it's just considered high risk to the lender. They don't want to lend to businesses that they might potentially lose their money. They want low risk industries. Now, the name should be broad, but you can do real estate under that name. That makes sense? So you can say, if you do real estate, you can say, 1, 2, 3. You can say something enterprises, your business name enterprises, but just try to avoid trigger words that are related to high risk industries. Real estate would be one, credit repair, the obvious ones, trucking. So you want to make sure that name is proper. It's broad. It's you can't tell what that business does just through the name. All right. So that's a big tip right there. Business address. All right. Full transparency. So business address does not matter. Let's say that again. Business address does not matter only for regional banks and local banks. So what I mean by that is Chase Bank is, if you guys are interested in joining the waitlist for my mentorship, there is a link in the description. Go ahead and click that description, watch the video, and join the waitlist. It's not going to look up your business address. They're just not, because most of the approvals are done through the algorithm. Right? Meaning you apply for a business credit card online, or even in branch. They're not like going to Google you to verify it's a legitimate business. Okay. Sometimes it can get flagged if you have like a virtual address that's flagged, or PO box or something like that. Yes, but you don't necessarily need a brick and mortar business. Only if you are going to apply for funding for regional and local banks, which most of you are. So this is why you need a virtual address, unless you have a business address that is a brick and mortar. You can use home addresses. So that's another myth. You can use home addresses, and you still could get similar funding if you don't have, if you compare it to like a virtual address, because there's e-commerce businesses, there's home businesses that use their home address. The problem with that is it's public record. So if I Google you and you have a footprint online, I can actually see where you live, right? I can see I can see who registered that LLC, and I can see what they put as a business address because it's public record. So I can look up your address. I have LLCs that have had my apartments. So you can get funded, but it's not recommended because it is public record. So just keep that in mind. So here is a tip though. Shout out to Credit Gems. Here is a tip. You want to use a virtual address, obviously. iPostal is getting flagged, so don't use iPostal. I have a Regis from like 3-4 years ago. Some of those are getting flagged, but they're not getting flagged if they have like a suite number. So just keep that in mind. But what you want to do is, big tip is actually get a registered agent for your state. So you can just type in, if you live in Georgia, you could type in Georgia registered agent. It's like $25, $50 a year, and you can use their address for your business because they're legally supposed to forward you. They're supposed to have like legit business address themselves, and they are supposed to forward you any mail as well. So just keep that in mind. So that is a gem right there. And shout out to Credit Gems because I wasn't aware of that. So you want to, if you want to save money on like not paying $30, $40, $50, get to subscribe, hit that bell notification. That way you can notify whenever I post a new video. Also, smash that like button, Guys, let me know in the comments if this is your first time here. Welcome to my channel where we talk about leveraging credit to create cash flow. We talk about business and we talk about finding influence a month with a virtual address with like Regis or these other virtual address companies. You can just use a registered agent's business address. So you have to get that first before you create your LLC. So you can use that when you set up your LLC as a business address. All right. So that's a gem right there. Phone number. Again, this is not as important if you're going for the big banks. Chase, American Express, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, US Bank. They don't care about they're not going to call you up for your business phone number. They're not going to call you up they're not going to look up your business address. That is a fact. Because again, most of it is done through the algorithm. Automatic approvals or denials, or even if you go in branch, they're not like Googling you. From my experience, local and regional banks definitely look you up. They'll Google you. I've had underwriters. I've applied for a bank and applied for a business credit card, and they tell me the address. They look me up right. They look up my address right as I'm applying for that business credit card. They look it up to see if it's a legit address and if it's a legit phone number. So yes, for regional banks and local banks, you will need that. Okay, they will look you up. So just keep that in mind. You could use something like Freedom Voice. You just don't want it. It could be a local business. It could be a local phone number or 800 number. So it's totally up to you. Email, again, same applies for an email. Okay, you don't necessarily need an email for American Express. I have my personal email for all my American Express business credit cards. They don't care about that, right? It's not really, that's not how they base their approvals. Now, it does look professional for a regional bank and a local bank, right? They're more intensive with their underwriting. Although they have lower underwriting guidelines, they're not as stringent with the personal credit report. They are more, what I found is more like anal with all these little things, right? Local regional bank, local small community banks, they will look into this stuff. I know this for a fact. I've had people to ask me, what's my website? I need to look up your website. If you don't show me your website, you won't get funded, right? So that's from my personal experience. You definitely need to have some sort of footprint online and look more, you need to look more like a business, a legitimate business, more with regional banks and local banks. So just keep that in mind. Website, this is important if you're going for like local funding or regional funding, that will look into that. You can use $5 or $100. You get a website, just talk about what you do. Keep it broad. You don't want to be like, I help people repair credit. You can just say you help people in consulting or something like that, or marketing. And obviously, I didn't have this in here, but industry is related to the business name, all right? So industry, NAICS code, very, very important. I'm going to harp on that. That is something that will make you not get funded if you're not properly picking the right code for that. So just make sure that you keep it something that's low risk. Marketing is one of them. So you can look up the code for that. E-commerce is good. Consulting, even though sometimes I'm hearing feedback that that's not getting as much funding or it's getting flagged as high risk. I know marketing is great for sure. E-commerce is great. So look up those NAICS codes. Make sure you're picking the right one for your industry or something that is not in a high risk industry. LLC, obviously you can get that. You definitely need that. You get that from inkfile.com. They only charge you the state fee. Then you would use the registered agent's address as your business address for your LLC. And then the EIN, you can get irs.gov. And then the last two, a business bank account. But as you can see, I put it in quotation, strategic. I don't want 50 bank accounts. I want to apply or open bank accounts that offer a lot of money. Okay? Chase, 100%. PNC, Truist, KeyBank. Those banks offer business lines of credit. They offer great business credit cards. Chase offers a business line of credit that they don't publicly talk about, up to $250,000, $100,000, no docs. A lot of people don't know that. Okay, so that's a little tip right there. PNC, $100,000 business line of credit. Truist as well. You get business credit card and business lines of credit. Now, obviously, your LLC has to be aged 2 years or plus. KeyBank is good. So you want strategic bank accounts. Now, if you really want to get really want to be strategic, you have to leave balances in there for an average of 90 days, minimum of 5K, because that increases higher limit odds and higher limit odds, especially if you're applying for like business lines of credit. So just keep that in mind. Can you get funded the same day you open an account? 100%. But from my experience, if you have a 90-day cycle of making deposits and leaving a balance there, you will get higher limits. And then obviously, last but not least, is an optimized credit report. You want to have 10 primary accounts. You want to have primary credit cards, major credit cards with 10K plus minimum, bare minimum 2,500, should be 5K minimum, but preferred is 10K and above. Guys, don't forget finance. Let me know in the comments. That's my time. My name's Toby Rosario. Peace.